Hey there, how are you today? My name is Dana Damara. You landed on Astrocast. This is the new moon solar eclipse report. So we have a new moon in Libra coming up on October 14th at 10:55 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it is blessed by a solar eclipse. So first of all, as just a generalized recap, okay, we have 13 new moons a month. So when we look at lunations, right, we look at from new moon to new moon. So every time the new moon happens, it's the reset button. We get to try something different. We get to set new intentions. And the moon is always it's always influenced by whatever sign it's in. Okay, so generally speaking, if we have a new moon in Libra, right, those themes, the themes around that new moon will be that of Libra-ish, right? It will take on a sense of Libra energy because that's where the new moon is. Now, when we experience a new moon, it's a dark moon. You can't see it, right? It's because the sun and the moon are conjunct each other, which means if we were to look up in the sky, they are at the same degree. Okay. So that's kind of how it runs. And then when we have a full moon, the moon is now opposite the sun, and then new moon, it comes back again, you see. So it's really quite magical, I think, but it's also mathematical, right? So this new moon is in Libra and it has a solar eclipse attached to it. Okay, so this doesn't happen all the time. In 2020, I think we had 7 eclipses between the new and the full moon eclipses. This year we have 4, which is about normal, I guess. And when we experience a new moon with a solar eclipse or a full moon with an eclipse, right, a lunar eclipse, then the energy gets deeper. The energy gets a little bit more strong. The energy gets it's amplified, if you will. So when we talk about energy heading into a solar eclipse, we're heading into eclipse season, I like to say. I always try to tell people, think of it as like a snow globe, right? And so it's that moment where everything gets shaken up a little bit. And you can have all the plans in the world. And when eclipses come, the universe is kind of like, okay, I hear what you want. I really do. And I understand that's what you desire. And we're going to go this way a little bit. So the universe, like universal support, universal energy, fated events, shifts, unexpected changes, things like that happen a lot during an eclipse season. Okay, so I always try to tell clients and students, if you are looking to make a firm decision on something, or you're like, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to bet all my money on it, it's probably not a good time to do that. At the same time, what I'll say is that our intuition, because of where all the planets line up during this in particular new moon, our intuition is heightened. Now, I like to think that we can kind of turn up or down the volume of our intuition just by feeding it, just by paying attention, just by listening, just by following it, and then being able to say, oh, look at that, I was right. So I think that it's something that we actually can practice, but around a new moon, and in particularly with an eclipse, our intuition is heightened. So I'm going to say just listen to what's going on for you, right? But keep in mind this new moon is in Libra. So we're talking about themes of relationships, of intimacy, of balance, of how we're showing up in relationships, of what's out of balance in certain relationships. And when I say relationships, I don't just mean with other, right? I mean with ourselves, right? Like maybe we're completely out of balance with how we view ourselves. Maybe you are running an old patterned belief of self-sabotage right behind the eyes, and you don't even know it. Relationships with food, relationships with alcohol, all of that. Okay, so this new moon is asking that we bring those energies back into balance. Okay, now there's a few aspects that I want to go over, and aspects are planets that are currently creating certain energy lines toward the new moon. This is why I like this. This is why it's mathematical too. Okay. So all these lines in the center are they tell me what aspects are happening, right? And so there's a couple things happening here. You know, first of all, I did mention that all new moons are opportunities to set the reset button. They just are. That's just how it is, right? Like it's a brand new lunar cycle. So it's an opportunity for us to kind of slow down and say, what is it that I really, really want? But you'll see up here, this is all the energy that is in Libra. So we have Mercury in Libra, and then we also have the moon and the sun. Now, I want you to look straight down here, and this is the North Node. Okay, so you don't see the South Node on this in particular picture, but the North and the South Node are always opposite each other. It's just how it is. It's 2 points, mathematical points on the astrological chart. And so this North, or this new moon is actually conjunct, sitting on top of the South Node. So this is all about your past. This is about something you've been working on, something that's in the past, and it is time to just snip, let it go. It's time to say, okay, I'm done with that theme. I'm complete. I don't need to ruminate in this anymore. I've done everything that I possibly can. And now I don't need to continue to look back. What I will say is the first eclipse that we experienced in April of 2023, this eclipse will have similar themes. It will have similar energies. It'll either bring whatever it was back up for you to look at it, or it will kind of resolve it. Okay, so there's a lot that you can really think about. I think the biggest thing to look at is relationships, because it's new moon in Libra, and this is really about patterns in how we show up and what we offer and what we give in relation to how much we receive. Right, let me say that again. So this in particular one is about our relationships, how we show up, and how much we offer in relationship to how much we actually allow ourselves to receive. So there's an imbalance most likely there. And remember, this is will be amplified because of a solar eclipse. So if you're not seeing it, if you're like, I don't know, I think it's fine, and maybe it's just some sort of way that you've been living your life and you haven't seen any other way, nothing has really posed another way, but you felt uncomfortable, this solar eclipse, this new moon will show you what that is, if you're open to it, obviously. There's a few other things going on. The eclipses will bring fated events, which means, if you have been kind of sitting on something and not doing anything about it, the solar eclipse will bring it to fruition for you, whether you want it or not. But this one in particular will bring you back to a center. I like to really bring my, I like to really remember that I know nothing, right? And that I am just this little speck of dust on a rock flying through the universe. Like I'm just this big. And so what I think I want, or what I know, might be clouded by ego, might be clouded by fear, might be clouded by something, right? So I do my best to sit with what I desire. And then I always say, okay, this is something better, right? Like if I'm on the wrong path, spirit, please tell me gently, right? Because sometimes we get caught up in our head and we kind of go that direction as opposed to listening. So this is a really, really, really good new moon to take quiet time for yourself, downtime. And I mentioned this in my weekly forecast. I'm reading this book right now, and one of the practices is to tell your friends and family that you're going to take one whole down day. Turn off your phone, put it away, go for a walk. Don't even listen to music. Just like be in nature, take naps. Don't read. Don't do anything. It's like a little mini Vipassana, right? Where you do literally nothing. This energy would be really amazing if you could practice that as much as you could, because it's palpable. Right now, remember also too, the energy starts to amp up a couple days before, and it still is in full force a couple days after. So if you're like, oh, I can't, I'm on the 14th, I'm really busy. Okay, well, then do your best, and then just try to maintain some ritual or some intentions before or after. All right, so I want to look at this, and I want to share with you a couple other things that are happening here. So Pluto's pretty active over here. You see Pluto's right here, and Pluto's making all these aspects with all these planets, and you notice some of the lines are blue, but some of them are red. So Pluto is also moving direct now, or went direct on the 10th. So what I'll say about with Pluto being active during this new moon is that there could be power struggles for you. There could be, and it doesn't have to be, again, with someone else. It can be on your own, right? The power struggle could be with our own mind, as far as like, how do I let go of that thought? Or I need this, why am I not getting this? Or whatever, right? So just be mindful of that. And then the new moon here is sitting very, very, very close to Mercury. And so when we have Mercury sitting this close to a new moon, this is, communication and clarity and purpose and day-to-day activity. So that may be up for investigation, if you will. And it's also, the new moon is also opposite Chiron. So if you look over here, there's Chiron over here. It's a 4-degree orb, so it's 4 degrees off of the new moon, but close enough to actually make a difference. And Chiron is the wounded healer, or the sacred warrior, however you want to phrase it. And to me, knowing Chiron and where our Chiron placement is so important. And Chiron's been in Aries since 2018 and going to stay there till 2016. So those of us with Chiron in Aries, we're actually experiencing probably some identity shifts, some different ways that we look at the world. That's what Chiron does. And also offers us up lots of opportunities to heal our past, to heal ourselves. We want to come into the world as healers. And so this is about having the power to open ourselves up to healing, right? So because Chiron and Pluto both are very activated planets, this is a beautiful new moon to, I don't know how else to say it, but like, let bygones be bygones, forgive, and just allow yourself to feel a greater sense of acceptance to your past, or to the way someone is, or to the way the world is, and just allow yourself to feel that sense of healing in the body. It's really, really important. And then another thing here that I mentioned in the weekly forecast is Venus, which is up here in Virgo, and then Saturn here sitting right in between Pisces and Aquarius. Good old Saturn. When Venus is opposite Saturn, there's tension that's created, and it is usually around, and tension can be a good thing, right? It's usually around our responsibilities. Since it's Venus, it'll be around money. It'll be around our financial responsibility and relationships. Again, there's that focus on relationships. So it's a really good time to take responsibility for those places that are experiencing disharmonious energy right now. And then pay off any debt if you can. Be responsible with your money, know where your money's going, and maybe you're working on some creative project. It's a great day to do that. Let your creative juices flow. You just don't have to share them with everybody right now. We'll be asked to release this October 14th. We will be asked to release anything that is not serving our highest good. So if we self-inflict, if we hold ourselves to a lower standard, if we people please, if we do these things that are just not for our best and highest good, you may notice them soon. And you'll want to just learn how, learn some new tools to just not be in that realm anymore, because that's not the best for anybody, really. So just allowing yourself to be quiet and to be still, to hear what's going on, but then also challenge yourself to be courageous to see the darker side of you, right? Like sometimes we just want to look at we look at all the beauty and we're like, oh, everything is good vibes only. And it's not like that, it's not. I think we have to be able to be in both, and that's Libra, being able to be in both, but trying to find that sense of harmony amidst both. That's really what this new moon is about, or part of what this new moon is about. And then I think that may be it. Let me see here. I have a couple of things that we may want to focus on with the new moon. Always with the solar eclipse, always, we want to expect the unexpected. Like eclipses have a way of just it's like shutting down the computer by the button, right? Just holding the button until it goes black. That's like an eclipse for me. Refrain from making any big decisions until after the full moon, if you can. Just kind of let things play out a little bit. And then I've been doing this with the book I'm reading, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm also like really faced with truth, which sometimes isn't enjoyable, but it's important, right? So the next thing I would say is, like, since we're in the sign of Libra, is to look at your relationships, like take a survey of your relationships and I like to go from the center out, right? So the people that I deal with every day or work with every day, the people that are outside of that, the people that are outside of that, and really ask yourself, like, how important are these relationships to me? What are the positive aspects of them? What are the things that I would want to shift in them, right? So, we want to be able to shift our dynamics. And remember, Pluto is active. So Pluto wants you to find a balance of power. Okay. It's like a tug of war. Like, what is most important to you in these relationships? And if anything needs to be cleared, clear it, right? If anything needs to be cleared, clear it. And take responsibility. That's Saturn. Take responsibility for your side of the street in this relationship. Doesn't mean you need to go to that person, if there is a person involved, and say, hey, I really need to talk to you about that time when we, they might not even know you're talking about. Get right within your own heart, know what actions need to be taken. And as always with new moons, like, just clear out the old, like anything that is not sparking joy, just like get rid of it. Clean out the drawers, clean out the cabinets, clean out the closets, clean out the mind, clean it all out. And I think October is a really good time to do that anyways, because we're getting closer to the end of the year. And some people wait till like January, but I'm from the school of start clean. Well, stay clear as much as you can all year, but before those holiday seasons come up, like, just kind of get rid of stuff and know where you're at, so that when you start the new year, you're fresh and clear, right? And then I would say, I said this already once before, rest. this new moon wants you to rest between Pluto creating these power struggles, between Chiron, between the South Node, letting go of the past. Like, this is all about you resting and sitting with a potential new version of yourself. So you want to rest for that, right? I hope this was helpful for you. If you want me to read your chart, I would be happy to do so. I am really booking a lot of chart readings right now. People are wanting to see what's coming up for 2024. Happy to do that for you. You can just reach out to me at danadamara.com. You can schedule and you can pay for it right on my website. I book all week long, so lots of time to be able to do that. But it's a really nice way to kind of see how this energy now is affecting you and then what's coming up for the year in front of you. I'm not saying that like I'll never tell you this is exactly what's going to happen in your chart. It's more like, here's the energy that you want to work with. This is the energy kind of, you know, moving in your chart. So how do you want to harness and utilize that energy? And if you are around in Encinitas, I am hosting a new moon sound bath on the bluff at Alila Maria, and I would love to have you. We only have, I think, 3 weeks left on the bluff, and then we go inside to the ballroom. The bluff is such a beautiful spot, open to the public. Happy to have you. That too is on my website. You can check that out there. And if you just want information about astrology, just go to astrocast.com and put in your email, and you'll get a few little emails from me. Thank you so much. This was a big one. I really appreciate you sticking with me, and I hope to see you soon. Namaste.